have. And they found, they've done research, the higher cholesterol diets you have, the higher testosterone levels you're going to have. So just started eating just a crap load of eggs, lots of red meat, drank lots of milk because it's high in cholesterol. Just like any high cholesterol food, I started eating. Started eating bacon. It was awesome.
Faster than a speeding bullet.
I ran until my muscles burned and my veins pumped battery acid.
More powerful than a locomotive.
An idea is like a virus. Resilient. Highly contagious.
Able to leap tall buildings in a single bound.
Hey guys, Jared Moon here, and thanks for joining me in another Better Humanology podcast episode. We have a pretty interesting one today. We'll be talking about testosterone, optimal levels, how to increase it naturally, and things like that. But we'll be talking to Brett McKay from The Art of Manliness, who actually did a 90-day experiment in which he doubled his testosterone levels. So very interesting stuff. As you know, at Better Humanology, we love these self-experiments, making yourself better, a better man, a better human. And so on that note, we will be talking about testosterone today, but for all my ladies out there, testosterone is not just beneficial for men, so everyone can get something out of today's podcast. Brett has a huge wealth of information, a huge wealth of knowledge on testosterone, and he shares it with us today. So without any further ado, let's talk to Brett about testosterone. All right, Brett, first off, I'd like to thank you for being on the show. Awesome to have you. And
Hey, thanks for having me.
yeah, man. So just so the audience, if they haven't heard of your website already, then they must be living under a rock. But if you could give us a quick intro and background on yourself, where everyone knows where you're coming from, that would be great.
Sure. I'm Brett McKay. I'm the founder, editor-in-chief of The Art of Manliness. It's a men's lifestyle website. I started in 2008 while I was a law student. And it was basically, I was tired of, I was a subscriber to like Men's Health and like some other men's magazines. And just got tired of them talking about six-pack abs and, you know, expensive $3,000 suits and weird Cosmo sex tips. So I decided to start the men's magazine I'd wanted to read and just used a blog, and it wasn't planning on it to be like my career. I was planning on being a lawyer, and it just blew up because I found out that a lot of other men felt the same way that I did, or as I did. And so, yeah, this is what I've been doing. And I brought my wife on. She started helping me out from the early on because thing exploded and I needed some help. So we run it together from our home in Tulsa, Oklahoma. Got 2 kids. Gus is 4. Scout is 18 months old. And yeah, that's what we do. We write about just how to be a better man in all aspects of your life.
And I think that fits perfectly with what we're doing at Better Humanology, trying to be a better human. And I'm definitely one of the dudes who's reading your website on a daily basis because I'd much rather log on to artofmanliness.com than check out Men's Health or any other magazine.
And you've also written for it.
I have, yes. Got a few articles on there. I can put those in the show notes.
They're really good.
Thank you. All right, man. So today we're talking pretty much manliness or testosterone, because you actually, it's a passionate topic of yours. You've written on it a lot. You had your Testosterone Week series, which was awesome, but you also did this amazing 90-day experiment, which we'll get to in a minute. But before we hop into that, let's just talk testosterone.
Okay.
So what are the benefits of testosterone, and what are the optimal levels that you'd want to see for testosterone?
Sure. So testosterone is a amazingly powerful hormone, and its benefits are for both men and women, but for particularly for men, because that is the hormone that gives us most of our it's the hormone of masculinity, basically. So the benefits of testosterone start in the womb. It's when you're a fetus in your mom's tummy, you get this huge spike in testosterone, and it floods your body. And starts. That's when the sort of the differences between boys and girls starts, and also in the brain as well. your brain starts kind of wiring for like a male brain than as opposed to a female brain. And not to say that it's like the difference between men and women are not a lot of times we have a lot in common, like we're both human beings, but that influx of testosterone can make differences in particular areas. And then you hit puberty and your T levels in both girls and boys spike, but particularly in boys. And that's what gives you your deeper voice. It gives you the broad shoulders that are a defining characteristic of male bodies. Hairy chest, hairy armpits, your sex drive, you start to want to do dumb teenage boy things because the testosterone increases our what would you call our comfort for risk and taking risk, which is I guess a very masculine thing, and increases your competitiveness. You have more kind of drive to do things and compete. It could be like fist fighting, or it could be, being awesome on the football field or doing well in school. And then after that, through the rest of your life, your testosterone just sort of provides other benefits, gives you stronger bones. It can increase your optimal levels of testosterone, can increase the health of your heart. It has a lot to do with your mood. Men who have optimal levels of testosterone report to be in a better mood than men with low levels of testosterone. Increases in cognition. They've done studies where they found that men with optimal level, and we'll talk about what optimal means in a minute, but higher levels of testosterone have a decreased chance of Alzheimer's. It's a big part in your sex drive throughout the rest of your life. So yeah, it's a lot of, I guess the big thing is like increases muscle mass and reduces fat in your body. So if you're looking to get big and strong, you want to have a sufficient amount of testosterone in you. Testosterone is a very useful, powerful hormone. So in regards to what is optimal levels, so the reason I said it is optimal, instead of saying like high levels, because optimal is going to be different for every person. Okay. Your sort of baseline testosterone level is largely genetic. All right, so some men, just because of genetics, are going to have higher testosterone levels than other men, right? Mm-hmm. Just the way nature shook out. Too high testosterone levels can actually be a bad thing, because if you have, it's like anything. Too much of a good thing is not good. And the same thing goes with testosterone. They've done research where men with super high levels of T have different health problems. But also just super high levels of testosterone can lead to, you just do stupid things. So like, it'll probably take you out of the gene pool. So they've done research on animals that, they've injected them with high levels of testosterone, and these animals start getting in fights more often. They start exploring further. That's one thing testosterone causes. It causes exploration, where you go out beyond your typical territory. And what ends up happening, a lot of these animals, they get killed before they have the opportunity to mate. Okay. So I mean, you could probably say the same happens in humans. If you see a human who is super aggressive and does some sort of it's like the Darwin, the Darwin Awards, right? Where those people die doing stupid things. I imagine if you tested those, and they're usually men, right? Right. I imagine if you tested their testosterone levels, they were probably higher than average. Okay. Right? Yeah. So they just took themselves out of the gene pool. So I mean, it's not the same, but I mean, with proper schooling and restraint and whatever, they could probably control that and direct that natural testosterone awesomeness to better, more productive gains. But yeah, so too much of a good thing isn't a good thing. But then you have a certain set point, and beyond, doing just sort of the good things, living a good lifestyle. Like if you want to increase higher levels, you'll have to do it artificially through testosterone injections. But on that, so on average, we'll throw some numbers around. So it depends on your age. They found that testosterone levels, they spike when you're a teenager, because you're going through puberty and you're going through all those changes. And then they kind of stay the same through young adult life, and they start kind of lowering about midlife. But they found, though, that the lowering of testosterone as you get older doesn't have to happen. If you maintain an active lifestyle and healthy lifestyle, you can actually keep your testosterone levels at a pretty optimal level well into your 60s, 70s, and even 80s.
Oh, wow. That's awesome.
So if you're for those numbers, if you're okay, here's the thing, we got to backtrack here. So when we're talking about testosterone levels, there are two types of testosterone levels. Your first one that you measure is your total testosterone level. And that is just the total amount of testosterone you have in your body. The second one is free testosterone. And free testosterone is the testosterone that's available to be put to use by your body. So what happens is not all the testosterone in your blood or in your body is able to be used by your body for muscle building or strengthening your bones or for making you more competitive, because they're bound by a hormone called sex hormone binding globulin.
Nice.
And whenever it's called SHBG, whenever that binds to testosterone, that testosterone is now unavailable for use.
Okay.
And so, what you want, free testosterone is, you want to increase both total testosterone, because as you increase total testosterone, your free testosterone will increase as well. But you also want to do things to decrease the amount of SHBG in your body. We can talk about things you can do about that. This is not to say that SHBG is bad. It's a molecule that your body uses to regulate sex hormones in your body. So what happens if your body's feeling like it's getting too much testosterone, it'll send some more SHBG, bind to testosterone, so things are kind of put back into equilibrium. When you measure your testosterone, you want to get those two measurements. How you go about measuring it, that's a good thing to go to. You don't need to go to your doctor to get your testosterone measured.
Okay.
You can just go online. If you go to healthtestcenters.com or something like that, or just look up testosterone testing. Go there. You want to sign up for a free testosterone test and a total testosterone test. You'll pay for it. It's going to be about $120 or $100. Sometimes they have sales. And then what they'll do is they'll send you an email and telling you to go to a testing center in your location and near you where you live. These are the places you go to, like if you got a job and you need to take a drug test.
Right.
You got to go, like you that's where you do it at. So you go there, they stick you. It's a blood test, and they'll put it in there. 2 weeks later, you'll get an email with your results.
Nice.
So it's pretty easy. There's also testosterone. So there's two ways you can test testosterone. There's the blood, which is going to be the most accurate.
Right.
And it's the one that endocrinologists use to diagnose low testosterone. There's also saliva tests that are super quick. You just spit into a cup, and then you can order those on Amazon, actually. You spit into a cup. They cost $30. They're not super accurate, but they can kind of give you like a rough idea of where your T levels are at. What else there's something else that came to mind when I talked about testosterone levels or testing for testosterone. Oh yeah, another thing to keep in mind with testosterone levels, it's so hard to talk about optimal testosterone levels because what happens is testosterone in your body fluctuates dramatically throughout the day, can fluctuate dramatically throughout the week, and even throughout the year. So when you test your testosterone, you have to keep in mind that that's what your testosterone level was at that time and at that day. Right. It's not something that holds steady. So like if you get your number back, you're like, oh man, it was super low. Well, maybe if you tested the next day, it would have been higher because testosterone levels are easily affected by a whole host of things. For example, if you got like a crappy night of sleep before you took your test, your testosterone levels are going to be lower than normal because sleep is when our body produces most of our testosterone. And in fact, that's one of the reasons why, I don't know if we can talk about this, like when a guy wakes up, you have a morning erection.
Right.
And it's because your body has been producing a large amount of testosterone throughout the night.
It makes sense now.
It makes sense now. There you go. That's why you have that. And it can fluctuate throughout, if you just if you've been really stressed out, your T levels are going to be lower. It can also, here's kind of the interesting thing they found is that testosterone levels fluctuate with like the days of the week and even the seasons. So they've done these interesting studies that they found on average, a man's testosterone level is highest on Thursdays.
That's
I don't know why,
yeah.
but it's Thursdays. And they've also found that seasonally, a man's T levels peak late fall and early winter, and they're at their lowest late spring, early summer.
Interesting.
And it's kind of interesting. So they've done studies with this that, even though human beings are not seasonal maters, like we don't have a mating season, they found that a lot of people are born in August, September, which would sort of, if you go back 9 months previous, that's like December, November.
Right.
That's like when a man's T levels on average supposed to be higher.
Okay, yeah.
So that's something to keep in mind when you're talking about your testosterone levels. Like they're going to fluctuate. It's not something that stays steady all the time. So talk about some optimal levels. So on average, if you are a 25 to 29-year-old man, they've done studies. The mean total testosterone level for a man between the ages of 25 and 29 is 637.
Okay.
So that's total testosterone.
Okay.
30 to 34, 597. 35 to 39, 567. So this is total testosterone. We're talking about free testosterone. The median for 25 to 34s, and there are different levels. So this is really confusing too, and I still haven't figured it out. They measure free testosterone differently from total testosterone sometimes. So it's like these weird, like chemistry, biochemical measurements that I don't understand. It's like Ng/DL. It's like nano. I have no idea what it is. I'll be honest with you.
Yeah.
Anyways, so free testosterone for a male between the ages of 25 and 34, 12.3.
Okay.
Which you're going to be looking for. 35 to 44, 10.3. So those are like, if you kind of, you can get on the charts. You can go to my website and you link to them, the studies that have been done about it, and you'll find sort of the range. I mean, if you just want to look for your age range, and if you're within that level, you're probably good. And if don't be alarmed if you're like a little bit lower, or you're going to be okay. I mean, if you're still feeling motivated, if you're getting stronger, if you have a sex drive, like your testosterone levels are fine, right?
Right.
That everything's working. If you're still getting erections, if you're not depressed, you're probably okay. I mean, it's okay if you don't have 1,000, free testosterone level.
Right.
You're fine. And that's here's the interesting thing with testosterone. Well, I guess when we talk about low testosterone. So the point at which you start experiencing some of the symptoms of low testosterone. So your listeners have probably seen some of these commercials where, for like low testosterone.
Yeah.
Like there's like billboards around here in Tulsa. It's if you go to geterectionback.com, it's just like so awkward. It's like this like middle-aged guy holding his middle-aged wife, and go visit geterectionback.com. But yeah, like it's a low T treatment. You've probably seen commercials for that Axle stuff, armpit stuff you spread on your armpit. I don't know what it's called, but it's a testosterone cream.
I've seen that.
You've probably seen that, yeah. So if you're some of the symptoms of low testosterone are often like fatigue. You're feeling kind of depressed, no motivation, no drive. Because here's the interesting thing. So testosterone is one of the hormones that plays a part in the amount of dopamine we have in our brain. And so dopamine is a neurotransmitter that's the thing that motivates us to do stuff, that gives us our drive. So if you have lower testosterone levels, you're going to have less dopamine, which means you're going to feel sort of like blah, right?
Right.
Problems with an erection, low sex drive, you're feeling weak, fatigued. Those are all symptoms of low T. You're often going to see those sort of symptoms when you hit below the 300 level mark on your total testosterone. So that's when you'd want to go talk to your doctor And possibly you can, there's natural things, sort of like lifestyle changes you can do, but it may be the case that you need to take a testosterone supplement. So there's injections or there's creams. And the thing with, keep in mind with testosterone too, is that, it could be that you damage something in your body whereby your body can no longer produce testosterone naturally in sufficient quantities. So you'll need to take that's not a supplement, it's an injection or a medication basically.
What would you damage is like a...
What would you damage? So there's certain things you can damage. There's cells within your testicles where testosterone is created. You can damage. So if you get like some like blunt force trauma there, you can do some damage that will prevent testosterone. And then also there's damage just in your pituitary. A lot of the damage happens it could happen in your brain. Something might happen with one of the glands in the brain that regulate some of the other hormones that are involved in telling your body to produce testosterone. So that could happen as well. So there's that, but I'm of the opinion, like I don't think there's anything wrong with testosterone supplements. I mean, if you need to do that or not, testosterone supplements, just what would you call that? Testosterone treatment. Okay. But I think a lot of the problems if you're experiencing low testosterone is that it's just basic lifestyle. You're just living a crappy lifestyle life that's causing your testosterone levels to plummet. So I'm not by no means a doctor, but what I would recommend is, go talk to your doctor if you're feeling some of these symptoms of low testosterone we've talked about, and then try to just change your lifestyle, right? Start exercising, start eating right, start sleeping, start being less stressed out, and see if that has an effect. If it doesn't have an effect or much of an effect, then go to try using the treatments or whatever, and see if that works. And
that's kind of what you did, right? I mean, if we want to talk about your experiment a little bit, because you doubled it. Was it total and free, right? You doubled both?
Yeah.
And you did like a little 90-day experiment, which is awesome. And from what I understand, it was primarily lifestyle changes, right? I mean, you weren't doing anything super crazy to do that.
So let me just kind of back up and kind of give you the context of it. So when I took my first test to see sort of what it was, I had been living, like I live, for the most part, like a really healthy, I exercise every day, I eat right. But at this time I was like, just like super, like I was writing this month-long series where we were cranking out a post every day. Like sometimes they're like 2,000 to 3,000 words long each. And then we're doing another post on top of that. And I was just like, I was pulling all-nighters. I was eating crap. I was skipping exercise, just super stressed out. And I just thought this would be like a great chance. But like, wow, like a lot of guys, this is like what their life is like.
Yeah.
Right.
I made myself the average American.
Yeah. Just like not eating well, not exercising, not sleeping, just being stressed out. And I was like, I'm wondering like what my T levels are at this time. So I went and took the blood test. Total T was 383 NG/DL, whatever that means. Free T was 7.2 PG/ml, milliliter. I don't know what pictogram, I think is what a PG stands for. Anyways, this was close to the average of an 85 to 100-year-old man.
Wow.
So it was low. It was low. And I was getting to that level where, like, if I went to a doctor, they would have put me on, like, testosterone treatment, right, with either cream or injections. But then I want to see, okay, what would happen if I just went back to, like, what my lifestyle is supposed to be, like eating right, exercising, sleeping, doing some other things as what I've, based on research, that is supposed to help increase your testosterone. What would happen? So I did this for 90 days. At the end of the 90 days, my total testosterone had gone up to 778.
Wow.
And my free testosterone had risen to 14.4. It doubled. And what was interesting, a month later, I wanted to see, like, if I kept doing it, if, like, things would get better. And my total T had gone up to 826.9. So it had kept increasing.
Wow.
Even more. So it was, and this was in 2012. how old am I now? I'm 32. I was like 29 at the time.
Okay.
So yeah, that was the experiment, and we could talk about like things that I did.
Yeah, I want to know like the basics, and I'll definitely link to the post so people can get the the really in-depth article that you wrote. But from what I was catching on it was some higher fat foods and exercise. Let's just break those simple things down a little bit. Maybe things people aren't doing right now that they could try and implement pretty easily. Sure.
So diet. It all started with the diet. Testosterone is made from cholesterol. Your body produces cholesterol naturally, but it also uses cholesterol that you eat, you consume, to turn into testosterone. So I thought, okay, the more cholesterol I have, and they've done research, the higher cholesterol diets you have, the higher testosterone levels you're going to have. So just started eating just a crap load of eggs, lots of red meat, drank lots of milk because it's high in cholesterol. Just like any high cholesterol food, I started eating. Started eating bacon. It was awesome. It was basically,
sounds like a fun diet.
I had the Ron Swanson diet. Then there's other foods too that can help reduce estrogen in your body, because estrogen can actually reduce the amount of testosterone in your body. So the higher estrogen you have in your body, the lower your testosterone is going to be. So foods like broccoli and cauliflower and cabbage, these actually can somehow they reduce the amount of estrogen that's flowing in your body. Your body also needs certain minerals like zinc and magnesium to start the testosterone production in your Leydig cells in your testes. And so I took a zinc magnesium supplement, ZMA.
Okay.
That you can find at online on Amazon or whatever. It's supposed to help with sleep as well. And the better sleep you get, the more testosterone you have. So breakfast was just basically bacon and eggs every day. Lunch, I ate what I called the man salad. So it was just like I would get steak, like pretty cheap steak, not like filet mignons, but like skirt steak or shoulder steak, and just grill them up for the week. And then I would get a bag of spinach and just chop it up, drizzle it, throw some avocado in there, get some high fat in there. Fat doesn't have so much an effect on your T levels. It's just that high fat diets is good for fat loss, and fat loss is good for testosterone level.
Okay.
Because the more fat you have on your body, the more estrogen your body stores and produces. So you want to reduce fat in your body. And what's interesting is, so as you lose body fat, it's sort of a virtuous cycle. You lose body fat, your muscle mass increases. And as you increase your muscle mass, your testosterone increases. So it's sort of kind of like it's a perpetuating thing. It's like, do you have big and strong muscles because you exercise, or because you have high T levels, or because you exercise, or whatever? It's like testosterone gives you big and strong muscles, but to get high testosterone, you need big and strong muscles.
Right. Yeah.
Right. So you have to, it's sort of like once you get things doing, it sort of the cycle keeps feeding on itself. It's a feedback loop. So yeah, man salad with Brazil nuts. Brazil nuts, they found that there's a mineral in there that helps with testosterone or free testosterone levels. Drizzle that with olive oil, because I read that diets with high amounts of olive oil increases testosterone levels. And then I just snack on nuts. And then at dinner, I just ate whatever my wife cooked. I wasn't too, I'm not one of those people, like, I don't let diet get in the way of like family or friends.
Right.
I'm not going to like make enemies. Like, no, I can't eat this because it has gluten in it. I'm not going to do that. Yeah. So just whatever my wife ate me, just in moderation. And that was it. And what was amazing, so in addition to the testosterone test, I also had my cholesterol tested, because I wanted to see, I was pounding back steak and eggs and bacon for 90 days and nuts. And I wanted to see what sort of like, am I going to be like a heart attack patient? And actually I found out that my cholesterol levels were absolutely stellar. They were like like the above average range of what you wanted. Both the good and bad cholesterol. So I mean, if you're worried about like it's gonna like affect your health, like for me it didn't. Again, I'm not a doctor, so like go before you start eating high cholesterol,
Right.
like go talk to your doctor. That might not be a good thing. Triglycerides were optimal, LDL, HDL ratio optimal. So that was that. So like that was awesome. And so that was the diet. Supplements. So there's a lot of confusion out there about supplements and testosterone. So you've probably seen like things like what's the thing, like tribulus and stinging nettle, that's kind of they've shown that's kind of put out there as like this thing that's like a libido booster, testosterone booster, but they've done studies and like they've shown over and over again that it works in mice, but it doesn't work in humans. So I didn't take any of those weird testosterone boosters during my experiment. The only supplements that I took ZMA at night. I also took I just took protein shakes like what I usually do, after a workout, and then vitamin D and fish oil, because the vitamin D plays a vital role in testosterone levels. So they've have studies that men who take supplements, vitamin D supplements, have a boost in their testosterone. So I took a 4,000 IU of vitamin D3 every morning. So that was all it on the supplement. Oh, and then here's kind of interesting. So caffeine has an effect on testosterone levels.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, you want to use it moderately, because if you use too much, it gets your cortisol going. So cortisol is, if you have a lot of cortisol in your body, it decreases T levels. But what they found is if you take a shot of caffeine 30 minutes before your workout, you'll see and this is like, it's for some reason it's before exercise, but your T levels will be up 30 minutes later. So I would sometimes I just use my pre-workout, whatever it is. Sometimes it would be like a 5-hour energy, or some other one of those weird pre-workouts that make you feel all tingly. And that was pretty much it. My caffeine intake for the day, because I didn't want to go crazy on it.
Right.
So that was the supplement rage. Exercise plays a vital role, and the thing that does the best for increasing testosterone is compound lifts with a barbell.
My favorite.
Your favorite.
Yeah.
Squat, press, bench press, and deadlift. And that's all I did. They found that high volume is associated with higher levels of testosterone production.
Okay.
So high volume is sets times reps times the weight, right? Yeah. So higher volume. You don't want to take each set to failure. So it's okay to push yourself on your very last set, but you don't want to do it all for all your sets. And then you want to rest for a minute, and rest for more than a minute between sets. For some reason, they found that if you do that, if you don't wait enough time between sets, like your T level, you're just going to fatigue your body. Right. And your body's not going to be able to, you're just stressing your body too much, basically. They found that HIIT training, high intensity interval training, is great for testosterone. So like wind sprints, prowler work, great for testosterone, boosting your testosterone levels. Endurance stuff, not so much.
Yeah.
So you're a big fan of the prowler.
I'm a big fan of the prowler. I have the DIY one that's a little rickety, but it gets the job done in the backyard.
Yeah. You don't want to overtrain either, because again, like if you just put too much stress on your body's not going to be able to produce testosterone.
Yeah, and I've read that that whole, people talk about that 45 to 60 minute time frame for exercise, especially with like heavy lifting. They said that time frame is optimal for, secretion of the hormones you want, like testosterone. But then once you get above the 60 minutes and you start going longer than that, then cortisol starts to increase, which, as you said, decreases testosterone. So That's pretty interesting as well. Like, it's not really beneficial to spend multiple hours in the gym at a time.
Multiple hours in the gym and like not killing yourself.
Yeah.
And that's the thing I learned. It's like before I was like a big, like, if I don't feel like I'm about to die after a workout, like I didn't have a good workout.
Yeah.
But like, when I was going that approach, like I just wasn't seeing much progress.
Right. Yeah.
With strength or just, even my physique. And ever, since I kind of changed things up where I'm not killing myself every workout, like I've been seeing progress. I just feel better too. Back to diet. This is kind of interesting too. So, speaking of like kind of crazy work, like CrossFit might not be the best. I mean, in moderation, right?
Right.
Like, if you're getting like rhabdo, like your T levels are probably sucking too.
Yeah.
But kind of related to that with diet. So, paleo diets might not be the best thing for testosterone levels as well. Because they found that individuals on super, super low carbohydrate diets have lower testosterone levels.
Okay.
So there's that. So don't feel bad to like have a piece of bread.
Yeah.
And that's just like from my personal. I think we talked about this when you were up here in Tulsa not too long ago. But like, I was trying to do the whole low carb thing, and like I just felt like crap all the time. Like I didn't work. Like I just felt like kind of fluish. My workouts were really weak.
Yeah.
And then once I started slowly, and I'm not talking about like, I'm not eating pizza and ice cream and like just pounding back crap, but like just eating some bread, some like more veggies, some more fruit. Like I feel better and my workouts are better and I feel stronger.
Yeah. I mean, I completely agree that transition of your body using, fats for fuel as opposed to carbohydrates, ketogenesis. I don't know. Like I've definitely experimented with all that stuff and done the strict paleo for a long time. I'm not anymore, but I have done that, and definitely my best performance is when same as what you said. And I'm not eating crap, but more fruits and carbohydrates. Definitely not in the ketosis range for myself, but way more performance when I have some carbs.
Eat a potato, like a sweet potato.
Yeah.
It's like, man, it's so good. You eat like a French fry. It's awesome. Anyways, so that's what I did for exercise. So it was just a lot of, heavy lifting and like prowler work. But then like the lifestyle changes you can make as well. Get more and better sleep. So I did things to improve my sleep because that's when a lot of your testosterone is produced during the day. Manage my stress better. So I started meditating every day.
Yeah, we did a meditation experiment. That was our first experiment. We did meditation for a week. I'm actually still doing it. So, yeah, it's been fun.
There you go.
Yeah. How did you like that?
I like it. I mean, I don't meditate on a regular basis anymore. 'Cause I prefer like journal writings for some reason. It's better for me. I don't know. I get more out of it besides just sitting there mindfully breathing. But it was good. Like I did notice I just a little more even keeled when I was doing it.
Yeah, I've actually my new morning routine kind of combines the two. I do like a quick 10-minute meditation and then I journal right after. So it's really like a Zen-like state after I'm done with that little morning routine.
That whole thing. It's nice. So another thing you can do, so we didn't talk about this with like testosterone levels. So they've done studies that over the past like few decades, average testosterone levels have been going down in young men. So they've done tests since like the 40s during World War II. And the T levels of men in their 20s then the average T level was significantly higher than it is now. And researchers trying to figure out why this is. And it's probably a combination of a whole bunch of things. So like our diet is probably a lot crappier than, people back in the 40s. We're just more sedentary. That has an effect. But like the thing that's kind of scary is we have a lot more what are called endocrine disruptors. And these are chemicals found in plastics, found in just products we use every day, like toothpaste, your shampoo. These chemicals get into your body and they act like estrogen. So your body think it's an estrogen, but it's not. And what happens is when you have these chemicals in your body says, okay, it's got estrogen, so I'm going to reduce testosterone production now in the body. So kind of these things kind of fool your body into lowering your testosterone levels. And it's kind of scary with some of these chemicals. They're thinking that these endocrine disruptors from like plastic shampoos, etc., are responsible for this uptick in a birth defect in boys. It's called hypospadias.
Yeah.
And basically, it's a birth defect in which the opening of your urethra is on the underside of your penis instead of at the tip. And that's doubled in the past few years. And like, there's certain areas in the country where it's more prevalent, and it's usually because the water source in these areas, like they have a lot of this endocrine disruptors. It's amazing. Like if you do there's plastics, there's even birth control in your water you're drinking because people flush that stuff down the toilet. There's a lot of it's terrifying. So and there's really not much you can. I mean, there's some things you can do about that. All right, so you're not like don't feel like you're a victim.
Right.
So you want to reduce the amount of these are guys. They're called xenoestrogens. These like fake estrogens. So you want to store your food in glassware, and you never ever want to heat food in plastic, because whenever you heat food in plastic, those chemicals leach into your food, or they're phthalates is what they're called. Phthalates, I don't know what they're called. Anyways, something like that. They leach into your food, and that can disrupt your testosterone production. You want to avoid exposure to pesticides and gasoline. You want to use natural grooming products. And this was, man, I had mixed. I actually don't use a lot of these products anymore because like they don't work as good.
Right.
So like, I used shampoos without any of those stuff in it. So like I got all my stuff from Whole Foods. Like there's like Jason shampoo, but I didn't get a good clean with it. The one Grandpa's Pine Tar soap. It's all natural, super, but it's kind of stinky. It smells like a smoky bedroom, or like a smoky house, like a smoky cabin. But it's some pretty good stuff. It's all good for you. There's nothing in there that'll mess you up. That's good stuff. I still have some in my shower. I used like Tom's of Maine toothpaste, and then the deodorant thing, man. That's the thing that
get you, yeah.
That got me, because I use this stuff called Crystal Rock deodorant, and it smells pretty good, and it worked okay. But like by the end of the day, I was like super stinky, like super super stinky. My wife would be like, "You smell like Burger King onions."
Get a real deodorant.
Get some real deodorant. So I'm like, I'm back on the Old Spice.
Yeah.
And then you want to avoid like BPA, and it's a chemical that lines food cans and thermal white print paper, your receipt paper. So just reduce your exposure to that as much as possible. Like don't suck on your receipt after you get it. And try to buy canned food that doesn't have BPA. And I think that'd be really important. This is like really important if you're a dad, or if you're married and you and your wife are planning on having a kid. Make sure your wife tries to reduce her exposure to this sort of stuff as well, because those things can get, and if you have a boy, it can affect their testosterone levels, and it can cause something like that birth defect, hypospadias. It's like hypospadias is not a big deal. Like they can fix it sometimes, like with surgery, but sometimes it's like so severe, like there's not much you can do about it. But yeah, it's something to keep in mind. And if you have a boy, and he's about to hit puberty, like try to reduce, like give him the best chance. Like let him. You just want to like create, let nature, what the testosterone level that he is, has the genetics for, like you want him to experience that as much as possible. Right.
Right.
And so try to just give him the best, start in life by keeping away from stuff that will kind of mess up testosterone levels. So we talked about those, avoid those. More sex, that can increase testosterone.
All right. So
there's that. Another thing, I experimented with cold baths, and here's I read this study. Because I wrote a post about cold showers, like back in 2009, and I came across this study like in Google Books by this thing called the Thrombosis Institute in England, and they said that if you take cold showers, it's supposed to increase your testosterone levels. And so when I was going back to write this series, I went to look for this research and I couldn't find it. So I don't know, and I couldn't find any other research that said, yeah, cold showers increases your testosterone. So, but what's funny though is like people have copied that post, and so they keep on like citing this thing that I wrote about that I can't find the site for.
Yeah.
Whatever.
So it's just
but I
gonna
did
keep going.
Yeah, I did the cold showers. I'm not sure if it had any effect on my testosterone level. So those are the big things. So just, I mean, basically it's just like living a healthy lifestyle. Eat right, eat lots of cholesterol, exercise, lift heavy, do some occasional high intensity training, sleep better, manage your stress, avoid, certain chemicals, have more sex. And there's that. That's how I increased my testosterone or doubled it.
Well, thanks for sharing all that. And I didn't know about the chemical thing, which is really interesting because, see, a few months ago, maybe a year ago, my wife and I found this app called the Think Dirty app.
Mm-hmm.
And so you can go to a grocery store and like scan toothpaste or shampoo or whatever, and then it gives you a rating 0 to 10, and 0 or 1 being like it's super healthy. So all the stuff that you were using, Toms and all the other stuff would be on the low end, and then everything else that's not good for you has a different rating. And there all these they link to studies in the app based off of a lot of Canadian studies because they're more regulated on their products than we are. But where was I going? Oh, we went crazy one time using that app on like everything. I had no idea for the testosterone stuff, but it was just interesting because we ended up with the fake toothpaste and the fake deodorant and the fake shampoo, and we did that for a little while, and then we're like, this just doesn't work. Like some of the things I can take, but when the toothpaste was the biggest deal for me, and toothpaste has some of the worst stuff in it depending on what type you buy.
Yeah.
I just felt like my mouth wasn't clean with some of the stuff we were using. I was like, I think it's worse for my hygiene than it is good for my health. Yeah.
You just test it out and find out what works for you. Like I'm okay with the toothpaste, because I actually found that like the way they design toothpaste, like the way if it foams extra, that foaming doesn't do anything.
Yeah,
that's just there to like make you feel like your teeth are getting cleaned. Okay. Like they're playing not mind games. It's like I read about that, so I knew that. But like the deodorant thing,
you smell bad.
you smell bad. I smell really bad. Like I'm like a big sweaty guy too, so I couldn't do the rock crystal stuff.
Well, man, I really appreciate you sharing all the results from your experiment. I think getting into testosterone testing and blood testing is something I want to do later on for one of these podcasts. So it's good to know that it's super easy to do. You just go online and
sure. And I want to say a caveat here that like keep in mind like testosterone is good for women as well. It's not just a man thing,
right?
So like what happens? Like women have produced less testosterone, but they're more sensitive to it than men are. But they found that, if you're a woman and you want a higher sex drive or you want to get stronger, more fit and more lean, like testosterone is going to help you with that. So optimize your testosterone levels. Doesn't mean you have to have the levels of a man,
right?
But optimize the level that, your genetics is programmed you for. So get it there and you'll probably have a happier, healthier life.
Yeah, I completely agree. Same reason why women shouldn't be scared to lift heavy things.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, man. Are you ready for the quick fire questions of the show?
Sure, let's do it.
All right, man. What is the hardest workout you've ever done?
Hardest workout I've ever done. I've done a CrossFit type workout with Atomic. It's a gym called Atomic Athlete, based out of Austin, Texas, with their online programming, and stuff smoked me.
Okay. In your opinion, what's the best activity for building mental toughness?
I would say practicing. How would I describe it? It's a daily practice where you just learn how to be more resilient and understanding that the stresses that you face each day are only stressful because you make them stressful, right? So it's just like something you have to do every day to keep reminding you. You got to keep playing tricks with your brain that this is only hard because you think it's hard and it's going to be over. You just got to plow through things.
Okay. And if you could only have one piece of equipment to work out with for the rest of your life, what would it be and why?
Barbell, man.
All
Gotta do
right.
the barbell. You gotta have the barbell.
Yeah, I'm trying to get everyone to say barbell, but the answers on the show have been just all over the place, pretty crazy. But a lot of them have been barbell.
Yeah.
All right, this is my favorite question that everyone gets. 100% open-ended. What is your best advice for becoming a better human?
I would say experiment as much as possible with yourself in all aspects of your life, with your fitness, with your mental toughness, with your family life. Always try new things, and keep using what works. That's the only way you're going to get better.
That is an awesome answer, and I completely agree. All right, man. So that brings us to the end of the show. Is there anything else that I didn't ask or we didn't talk about testosterone we should cover before we close it out?
I think that's it, man. We hit a lot. Again, if people can go check out my the site, that'd be great with the testosterone articles. I'm also working on a pretty comprehensive book about testosterone. I don't know when that's going to be out, but it's my pet project right now.
All right. And so would be the best place for people to check you out be the website or with social media or what?
Yeah, website. Just go to artofmanliness.com. You'll find everything there.
All right, man. Well, I really appreciate your time and talking about testosterone. Thanks for being on the show.
Thanks, man. Appreciate it. It's been great.
Hey, guys. Thanks for listening to the Better Humanology podcast. If you want to know about any of the resources we talked about, head on over to betterhumanology.com and check out the podcast show notes. Likewise, we have betterhumanology.com/toolbox, where you can find every resource that we've ever talked about on the podcast. So go check it out. Until next time, here's to becoming a better human.
Your best. Losers always whine about their best.